As you can tell by this title, this is part 2 in this story. Quick disclaimer before I get started. I was not perfect in this relationship. I done some things that I am not proud of. I was pushed to a point where I also put my hands on him. I shoved him a couple times, and I do not condone in any form of abuse, whether that's physical or verbal. And once you start getting that abusive behaviors in a relationship, get out. I know it's easier said than done, but those are really big flags when you are in a relationship. I've also done some toxic behavior that I am not proud of. And since this relationship pushed me to a point where it was bringing the worst in me, I knew that I had to get out. I knew that it was toxic. I knew that I wasn't acting like myself. This is not a real relationship. So again, I take ownership on my part. Okay, so let's continue from when I seen his location. I see the blue dot moving, and I got confirmation that he was out of jail because I checked his Snapchat. On his Snapchat, he posted a blank wall, and on the caption it says, "I can't wait to eat real food." So as soon as I seen that, I was like, okay, he's out of jail. And I was kind of pissed off because the attorney didn't tell me he was out of jail. I found out on my own. Luckily, I had his location, otherwise I wouldn't have known. So as soon as I seen his snap, he turned his location off. I just remember I woke up at 8 a.m., checked his location. That was the first thing I always did in the morning. Checked his location, I saw it moving. It went from 1 hour to and then it stopped at Miami airport. So for a moment I thought, oh, he's going back to Cali. So once I seen that the blue dot was stopped at Miami airport, it gave me some sort of relief. I was like, okay, he's gonna leave me alone. He's not coming over here. He's not gonna harm me in any way. So I get up, I go brush my teeth, and then I check his location again, and I seen the blue dot moving again. It went from 1 hour, 30 minutes, 20 minutes. He's getting closer to my house. I was like, where the fuck is this guy going? And if he's coming to me, why is he coming to me? So I started to get anxious. And then again, he turned off his location. It reached I think it was 15 minutes close to my house, and then he turns it off. And I was paranoid to the max. So I was mad. In my mind, I was like, he is not coming to my apartment. Not after what he did. He's not putting his hands on me again. So I called him on Snap because I think he blocked me on my phone. Or no, I wanted to call him on Snap just so in hopes that the cops wouldn't trace him in any way because we had a restraining order placed against us. So I call him on Snapchat, and the first thing he says was, "You know I can get in trouble for talking to you, right?" So as soon as he said that, I was like, okay, he is not coming here to harm me. I was like, I seen that you're out of jail, where are you headed to? And he was just like, well, I'm coming back to the apartment to go pick up the rest of my stuff. And then I was like, I don't live there no more. And then he was like, oh, well, I'm 2 minutes away. And so I tell him I wouldn't be comfortable seeing him by myself. And he continues and says that he already called the cops to escort him. So I tell him a place where we can meet up, and then I'll just drop his clothes off for him because I didn't want him knowing where I lived. I told him that I already had his stuff packed. It was already in bags and they were ready to go. So I tell him where to meet me. I tell him where the cops can meet us as well. So I drive down the street and I see him with 2 other cops waiting for me to drop off his stuff. I see him in his jail clothes, bro. It hit me. I felt so bad. I'm like, damn, he went to jail and now he doesn't have a place to stay. I have such a big heart and I always see the good in people. So when I seen him, I felt sad. I don't know. I always give people the benefit of the doubt. I didn't say anything to him. I just go up to him. I hand him his bags. And then I get back in my car. I drive off for a little bit. And I'm looking at my rearview mirror and I see him walking 2 bags in his hands. He's in his jail clothes. He looks fucked up. Like he didn't eat for days, he didn't sleep for days. Like it just hurt me to see him that way. And like he's an example of the Hulk. Like he's harmless, and you know, like he seems harmless. He seems like he's a really great person, which he is deep down. And like the moment he turns angry and snaps, that's when he becomes the Hulk. And we used to joke about that all the time. He used to be like, well, you're She-Hulk because you get mad too. So I see the cops leave, and I think he's like walking to the bus stop or something like that. So then, because I could see all of this like from my rearview mirror, I was driving kind of slow. So then it only took me like a minute to call him on Snapchat. Like, my dumbass, just like, I give in so easily. And I always give people the benefit of the doubt. Like, it's like, I forget all the bad things that somebody does to me. I don't know why. Like, I just have such a big heart. It's something that I need to fix, or like something I need to work on. But I call him. I was like, hey, like, it's nice to see you. And like, if you need a hotel, like I could hook you up. Or, you know, like if you need a ride somewhere, I could hook you up. Because he didn't have a car. He didn't have, you know, like we were staying in the apartment together, so he didn't have a place to stay. He was like, that would be so helpful. So then I flip a bitch, go back to where he was at. The cops were gone. Actually, no. Okay, so we were on Snapchat for a while. We were talking on Snapchat for a while, about like 30 minutes, about like what we were gonna do, like where I'm gonna drop him off and stuff like that. So he actually walked to a Chipotle, got him some food, and then he like was able to change, because I gave him all his clothes, and then he was able to charge his phone. So then finally, like after that 30 minutes talking to him, I go drive to the Chipotle to go pick him up, because we decided I was going to take him to a hotel. So I was sitting in the parking lot waiting for him to come in. As soon as he comes in, we gave each other a really long hug. Like, I'm telling you, we were just like holding each other. We weren't saying anything to each other for a good 5 minutes. We were just sobbing in each other's arms. We were just crying and just feeling each other's presence. Like, it felt so nice to be in his arms again. Like, we were talking in the car for a while about the incident and how like he was sorry, and that like he took ownership on his part, and he shouldn't have let himself get to that level of like, you know, putting his hands on me or whatever. So we were just talking about the situation, and I was still very hesitant to trust him. So I was like, well, you need to find a place to stay. So I started scrolling down hotels.com looking for a place for him to stay, and we couldn't find any good spots. Like, everything just seems very like grimy. Like, they were all motels, and like the hotels were super expensive. So we gave up for a little bit, and I was like, do you want to go hit up a beach so you can like calm your nerves, or like so we can calm our nerves? So then we drive to our beach. Like, there's a beach we used to go to in Miami. We go there, and then we were just like on the sand talking, and how like we just started talking about getting back together, and like this was a lesson that we had to go through. So pretty much saying like we had to go through this to understand how much we love each other and how much we want to be together. And it was just like a bunch of bullshit, right? Just talking about the future. And so it started raining at the beach, so we had to leave, and we go back into my car. We're in the car, and I was like, we need to find you a place to stay. Like, I don't know where else we're gonna go. Like, I wasn't comfortable taking him to my place just yet. But the fact that he wasn't even helping me look for a hotel, like I was just looking for it for him, like you can tell he didn't want to stay anywhere else. So my dumbass asked him, do you want to come over? Like, do you want to stay the night until, you know, like you can get a hotel tomorrow? Or I don't freaking know why I did that. So we drive to my house, which was useless for me to even move to a different unit. Like, I spent $400 for a moving company for him to go to my place. Like, I don't think about stuff sometimes. So anyway, we go to my apartment. He takes a shower, and then I was thinking like I thought everything was good. Like, we had that same connection when we first met. Like, I felt the love and the attraction. Like, he's very charming. He's a charming man. Like, he knows how to get to me. Like, I don't know, but I don't know if you know about the 5 love languages. Like, there's physical touch, words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, and there's another one. But mine is words of affirmation. So, like, he was really good at doing that. He was really good at pumping my head up, giving me compliments, making me feel like I was on top of the world. So I think that's what really manipulated me to, like, being in the relationship with him, because I felt so loved with his words. He was just telling me about the future and how much he loved me, and then he started talking about his experience in jail. Like, mind you, he was in jail for 3 days, and then he was like, I learned my lesson when I was in jail. Like, I learned not to do it again. Like he was just, like, kind of convincing me that he won't do it again. And then, like, I was still kind of having doubts in my head. I'm like, there's no way you could have learned that quick, you know? Like, there's no way you changed that quick. It does not take 3 days to change your behavior. Like, it takes years and years and years and years of practice. Like, your habits take a long time to change. So I was very doubtful. And then I started to get kind of, like, anxious again. I don't know why I took this man into my home. That night, everything was good. Like, we cuddled, we slept really well together. Like, it felt like I was home. Like, I felt loved. And then the next morning, he had to go to work. He had to get up at 4 or 5 in the morning to go to work. So he leaves my apartment in the morning. And then I call, I'm not going to say who it was, but I called someone who was in an abusive relationship that morning. I was like, hey, like, when you would get abused, like, what are some things that they would tell you to make you fall back into their arms? So she pretty much said a lot of the things that he was doing, like the actions that he was doing. So I was like, holy shit, he's gonna put his hands on me again. He's just trying to ease me back into his life. Like, he's trying to reel me in again, you know? Like, he's super charming. He knows how to do that. And then I started watching a bunch of YouTube videos on, like, people who are in abusive relationships, and, like, a lot of the actions that these manipulators do, these abusers do, was similar to what my ex was doing. So that morning, I went back to the leasing office, and I was like, okay, I need to move. Like, I need to move out of Miami. Like, I'm not trying to stay here. He's out of jail. Like, I need to get out. So you guys need to, like, terminate my lease, because I'm trying to leave as soon as possible. So they were like, well, in your situation, like, we can make that happen. We won't charge you anything. Like, we want to do anything to help you out. So it was just so helpful. Like, they were nice about this. And I packed all of my stuff that day. I call him. And he got off around, like, 4 p.m. So, like, before I went to go pick him up from work, I was posting stuff on Facebook Marketplace. Like, all of my furniture was brand new. And then I was selling them at such a cheap price. Like, it was sad. Like, I lost so much money living in Miami. I just wanted to get rid of everything. And it hits, like, 3:30. So I just remember, like, driving to his work, and I was going through my Snapchat, deleting any man's name off my phone. I turned off all my notifications. I deleted, like, 200 contacts. I, like, blocked a bunch of people on Instagram, on Snapchat, like, even my cousins. Like, if they were a guy's name, I had to remove it because I didn't want him to trip out. So I just remember, like, going to the drive. It was like a 20-minute drive to his work, and I was doing that while I was on the drive. So I get to his job. I told him that because he has a restraining order, and because, like, the incident happened in the apartment complex, I told him that that apartment complex doesn't allow him on property anymore, which was true. Like, they said that if they see him come into the apartment, they'll, like, call the cops on him. And we had a security, like, there was security. It was a gated community, so the security knew how he looked like. So I told him, like, we need to find you a place because you're not allowed to stay at my apartment. Either you got to stay in hotels or you got to find your own place. So then I pick him up from work, And then we go, I was on Craigslist, and then I found a few like apartments available. So I took him to one of them, and we do a tour, and then they tell him like the requirements for him to stay there. He needed 3 pay stubs. Like at this point, we were only living in Miami for 3 weeks, so he did not have 3 pay stubs. What else? I don't know, just like, just the basic requirements for an apartment. So we go to play pool because like that's something that we used to do a lot. So we go play pool real quick and just get some lunch because he just got out of work. And then I was just crying, like I just remember crying while we were eating because like I felt kind of bad because I took him all the way to Miami and then I'm gonna leave him. Like I already was planning to move out of state. Like I already bought a ticket. I already packed all my stuff, and he did not know any of it. Like he was in the dark. But I was doing that for my own safety because I was afraid he would put his hands on me again. So I started crying. And he was like, everything's gonna be okay. He didn't know why I was crying. He thought I was crying because we wouldn't be living together anymore, and that he reached the lowest part of his life, like, and he really did. Like that day was so bad. Like he had bad luck the entire day that day, and that's really what hurt me because like I don't like seeing people lose, and he just had bad karma that day. Like I just remember we leave the pool place and then we try to go look for some hotels, and this hotel was sold out. And then there was one where, the one that he ended up staying in was fucking grimy. Like it was disgusting. Like there was blood on the blankets. There was like, the towels were already used. Like there were holes in the wall. There was cockroaches. And then he lost his wallet that day. Like he lost all his money. He lost his identity, bro. So I just felt so bad. Like I was just crying at the end of the night. Like I dropped him off at the hotel and I was like, I wish I could help you. Like I even offered to give him money. Like that's how big of a heart I have. Like I'm like, I'll give you money. Like I know you lost your wallet, but I want to help you. And he was like, no, like don't help me. Like I'm good. I got this. So drop him off at the hotel, and then I go back home, and we were talking for a while, and then he like had to go to sleep because he had work the next morning. So like that entire time when we were at the pool place, and like just that entire day, I kept saying, you're strong, you got this, you can do this. Like just remember how courageous you are, and you're capable of doing so many things, right? Like I was just affirming him, and he was just like he was accepting my words. He was listening to me. But I just kept reiterating that. I kept saying that, like, I love you so much, like you're strong. And then like that next morning, I keep texting him that again. I was like, you're strong, you got this. Like, I just kept reiterating that. He was like, why do you keep saying that? Like, you act like you're gonna leave me, like you're still here, we're still doing our own thing, we're just gonna be separated for a while. And then I finally tell him, like, I'm moving out of state. So this is why I keep telling you, like, you can do this on your own. Like, don't give up. Like, don't give up on your music, because I know you can make it big out here in Miami. So I kept telling him that. He's like, that's fucking bullshit. He was like, you kept this from me. Like, you lied to me. You said that we were gonna get back together. Like, you made it seem like we were gonna be together forever. And like, now you're leaving me to another state. Like, I get out of jail and like you take me to your home. Like, why didn't you tell me from the start, like from the jump? And he was just pissed. Like, he was at work and he was on the phone with me and he was pissed. You can't tell this man anything without him getting super mad. So I had his speakers and I had a few more of his things, so we decided that I would drop it off at his work. And so I meet him at his job, and like, it was our last goodbye. Well, actually the pool place was our last goodbye. Like, we gave each other our really tight hugs, and like I pretty much gave him a kiss goodbye when I dropped him off at the motel, because I already knew that I was leaving. He didn't. So when I went to his job and I seen him, like, I was like, can I have a last hug? And he looked at me and he was just like, and the fucking devil eyes again, like with that fucking rage in his eyes. He's like, oh yeah? Like, because I asked for a hug, and I was just, like, I'm sorry or something, like, and then he just, the way he looked at me, I'm like, okay. I backed off a little bit because it scared me, and I ended up driving back home, and then I texted him like, good luck with everything, like, you got this. And so yeah, and then he just kept saying like, why are you even talking to me, like, stop talking to me, like, you broke my heart, whatever. So then I kept it at that. I started crying because like I felt bad that I was leaving him. Like, it was the right thing to do, but he made it seem like I was doing the wrong thing and I broke his heart, when in actuality he caused all this. If he didn't like put his hands on me, if he would have just whatever, like, I'm not even regretting any of this. Like, I feel like all of this was supposed to happen. Like, I was meant to jump in that car with those two men. Like, I was meant to meet this guy to open up my eyes and like realize what I will and will not take from a man. I don't regret this, I don't. But like, all of this would have been prevented. So after that incident, or after I dropped off his stuff, I had about 2 more days in Miami. So I enjoy myself the next day. I go to the beach, I go tanning, I have a great time. I'm by myself, I feel free. Like, I don't have to worry about what bikini I'm wearing. I don't have to worry about how I'm like interacting with people. I don't have to worry about any of that shit, right? So I'm having a good time, and then I go back home, I pack the rest of my stuff, and then I get ready to leave the next day. So the next day comes, I get my bed picked up because that was the last furniture that I had to sell, and then my entire apartment was empty. Like, that's crazy. I was only in that apartment for like 5 days. So, not even 5 days, like 3 nights. I get picked up from an Uber, and then I fly from Miami airport to the destination that I'm at right now, which is Kansas. So the reason why I chose Kansas is because I wanted to move to a state, like the closest state where I had family. So it was either California, Washington, or Kansas. So Kansas was the closest from Florida. So that's why I am here now, and that's why I moved out of Miami, in case you guys were wondering. Fast forward to about a few days after living in Kansas, I hit him up and I asked him, like, how are you doing? Like, were you able to find your wallet? Like, are you back in Cali? So he was surprised that I hit him up. He was like, yeah, I'm back in Cali. Like, what's up? Like, he was just being kind of rude. Like, I tell him where I moved. I didn't tell him which city though, but I pretty much we pretty much like rebuild our connection, our relationship. Like, we became friends again, and then we were texting nonstop. We were calling each other nonstop, and there was no way of denying our feelings for each other. Like, I still loved him. I still felt like a deep yearning for him. Like, I don't know why I was so gravitated towards him. Fast forward to like a month, like, he was like, I want to move there. So he buys a ticket to move to Kansas, but before that day even comes, I broke up with him again. The fact that we were in different states, the fact that he wasn't seeing me physically, he became more controlling. Like, so I'm a supervisor at Hyatt Regency, which is a customer service job. I'm in people's faces. I'm in men's faces, especially because they like to travel. Like, they travel for work. So I'm always in a man's face. And he would be telling me, like, I don't want you to be smiling at a man like how you smile at me. Don't be looking at them like how you look at me. So, like, it's customer service. I gotta smile. Like, I gotta say welcome, and I gotta say have a good day. Like, I still gotta smile, right? So he did not like that, and so he just became more and more and more controlling. And then like, I was walking around eggshells, broken glass, thumbtacks, all of that. Like, he used to always tell me, like, if there's anything bothering you, I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me, like, be open with me. And he like laid it on the table and said that I can tell him anything, right? That's what he made it seem like. But if I ever brought anything to his attention, he would turn it around and call me a liar. Like, one time I was like in my feelings, and I was like, it's hard for me to open up to you. Like, don't feel heard. And then he was like, you're a liar, you're fucking lying, like I'm gonna hang up if you say that again, like if you say that I don't listen to you, like I'm gonna hang up. And I'm like, why are you getting mad about how I feel? I'm telling you how I feel. You said I can tell you how I feel, and you're just like getting mad at me. So like, that's gaslighting. He would make it seem like I'm going crazy, like I'm making shit up. He would call me a liar all the time. And if it was something how I feel, he would say, oh, you're lying. Like, how can someone lie about their feelings? That doesn't make sense to me. So that kept on happening. And then I was like at a point where I had to take a picture of my whole outfit. I had to take videos of my whole hair, my makeup. Like, I was sending him all these snaps because I thought that if I didn't, he would trip out and he would be like, oh, what are you wearing? Like, what are you wearing to work? You know, like, I didn't want to get those questions. So I beat him to the punch and I would send him pictures of what I was wearing. So that became a habit, and it shouldn't even be like that. A relationship shouldn't be like that. What else? And then there was like this one instance where we were talking about social media. We go and talk about how, like, when people post pictures on Instagram and Facebook, that is for attention, and that, like, it's a common thing, right? I thought it was just, like, in general. That's a conversation we had on one day. There was this one time where I posted a video on Snapchat with me lip singing a song, and then he was like, I thought we talked about this. I thought we talked about you not being sexy on Snap and on social media. I'm like, how am I being sexy? I'm just lip singing a song. How is that a problem? He was like, I thought we talked about this, about how if you post stuff on social media, you're asking for attention. He was like, I guess my compliments don't mean anything to you if you're trying to get attention. I'm like, it's a Snapchat. Like, I'm recording myself singing a song. I'm not even singing. I'm not even smiling. Like, I don't get it. So he started tripping because of that. And he continued on to say, like, I love compliments so much, and that, like, I just want validation from others. And it was just manipulative. It was tiring. It was draining. And, like, it just got worse because we weren't living in the same state together. And it was 7 days before his flight to Kansas where I broke it off again. He acted in a way where I just couldn't take it anymore. Like, he was just too jealous, too obsessive, too controlling. It was fucking tiring. So I have my friend. I call him, like, my brother because he is my brother. Like, we went to New Orleans together. We're hella close. And him and I would text sometimes about relationships. And it's not even anything, like, serious. And I think what really made Leo so obsessed with me is, like, every time I would send him any picture, whether it's like me smiling, like my body, just anything, he would be telling me how infatuated he is. He's like, oh, I'm so infatuated with you. You got the most beautiful lips, like your eyes, your face shape, your hair. Like, he would just be complimenting me, just like obsessed with me. Like I was flattered at first. I thought, oh, he's so in love with me. Like, he actually really loves me, like my features and my personality. Like, he fucks with me tough. But it became an obsession. He became obsessed with me, where he was being super, super controlling. So fast forward back to the incident where I broke it off. So we're on the phone talking about like, he wants to take me camping and stuff. And then I was like, the only time I ever went camping was with my sister and her man. I was like, we went camping with her man's family. And then he was just like, oh, so you're hella cool with your sister's man? Like, you got to meet his whole family? Like, he was just tripping over my sister's man. I was like, he has been part of our family for like 6 years. They've been dating for 6 years, so he's my brother, right? So then he was like, oh, is he your brother? Like, well, I'm gonna say his real name because he is my brother. His name's Daniel, the one that I went to New Orleans with. Like, he is my homie. He was like, oh, so he's like your brother, like Daniel? And then I was like, why the fuck is D in the conversation? I was like, how did D even get in this conversation, bro? And he was like, well, y'all two always text each other. So, like I said, Daniel, I always have his back. So, like, when we were in Miami, he would be texting me about his girl problems, and I would be there for him. I would be there giving him advice. I would tell him, like, you know, like, look, you gotta be more careful, just regular advice. And it wasn't even like flirtatious, like, at all, because he's my brother, he's my homie. So Leo's seen us texting back and forth, and I kept it real with him. I always kept it 100. Like, look, I'm texting my homie, like, he needs girl advice. Like, I never hid that from him. So back to our fight. He was like, oh, well, you're hella cool with your sister's man, like Daniel. I was like, okay, first of all, you need to stop tripping over Daniel. As soon as I said, stop tripping over D, he tripped. Like, he snapped, he became the Hulk. He was like, who said I was tripping over Daniel? I don't even give a fuck about him. Like, now you got me scared. Like, now you got me thinking that you are doing something, because why would I be tripping? Like, I was like, what is going on with this man? I can't say anything at all without aggravating him. So he was like, oh, so why should I be tripping? Like, now it's like, what have you been doing? And like, he just went off. Like, he just wouldn't shut up. I was just like, okay, sitting there like, why is he mad? Why is he mad right now? He was like, y'all two went to New Orleans together, like, what else have you guys done? And just da-da-da-da-da, just like a bunch of bullshit. And I was like, I'm tired of this. Like, I do nothing but treat you like my king. I do nothing but be faithful to you, loyal to you. Like, I love you. Like, I give you my all. And that's not enough. Like, it's like he was always trying to find a reason to fight. He was always trying to find a reason to trip out. And I told him, I'm done. I'm tired. And he fucking started crying. He was like, I told you not to hurt my heart. Now you're breaking up with me, and you, like, my heart, like, you just don't give a fuck about my heart. I told you that we like, he was like, I told you we're not supposed to break up. This is supposed to be a forever thing. And he just kept on going on and on, like, you hurt me, you broke my heart. And he was crying. And so it went on like that all night. He was crying, and I was trying to ease him. Like, I felt worried about him because he just couldn't talk, and he was like choking, and he was like crying. Like, I was like, everything's gonna be okay. Like, I'm not breaking up with you. I'm just saying this has got to stop. You gotta fix your behavior. You gotta fix this. Like, you need to stop being so jealous. Like, I told you, no man can come between us. Like, you got my heart, and I got yours, and I'm going to protect your heart. I kept saying that, and he was like, stop saying that. Like, you don't love me. Like, stop saying you love me. So then he was just, like, crying. He wouldn't let me talk. So then we get off the phone, and then the next morning, like, he blocks me, and I block him. And that was the end of it. So that was the last time I ever spoke to him. This relationship is not one that I regret. I'm super glad that this happens, because it opened up my eyes in so many ways, and it helped me realize, like, what kind of men are out there and what red flags to look out for. And I just gotta, like, be more vigilant and more cautious, and like, I also gotta look at how I treat others, and how, like, I'm also able to look at my negative behaviors and work on those. So, like, I'm just glad that it was only 2.5 months long and nothing more than that, because it could have gotten worse. And I'm glad he did not move to Kansas. If you know anyone, or if you're in a situation where you're being controlled, or if you're being abused, whether that's physical or verbal, talk to people that have your back. Talk to people who you think would be helpful and, like, supportive. Like, don't be afraid to open up. Don't be afraid and ashamed that this is happening to you. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. It's them. Again, they are the narcissists. They are the abusers. They are the manipulators. So don't let them take full control. And as soon as you start getting controlled in a relationship, get out. That is the biggest red flag. Like, two people come together and they're two powerful people as individuals, and they work together as a team. One person should not have full control over the other person. Like, no, get out. You got this, baby. Like, just be strong. You're courageous. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you think that this would help out somebody in your life, please share this video. Again, there's 2 parts to this video, so you can share both of them if you like. So yeah, thanks for your support.